Okay, good morning, everyone. We're going to have a look at some keyword transformations. We had a poll during the week in the group, and everyone wanted to have a look at keyword transformations for this week. So we're going to have a look at some sentences here. And this time we're going to sort of concentrate on phrasal verbs, and particularly phrasal verbs of sort of quite a few different prepositions, and not just one preposition, but sort of two prepositions. Okay, so let's have a quick look and see what we've got, and we'll try and figure out answers. So sentence number one, I advise you not to get involved in that argument. Okay, so you can see here in the sentence, we're looking at a sort of second conditional, if I were you. So obviously in the sentence before, we're going to try and find an expression here which is not to get involved as the idea, and then we've got in that argument. Okay, so we could use here the phrasal verb stay out of. Okay, and that will give us this idea of not to be involved. Okay, so if we're looking at sort of second conditional, one second, let me just see if I can put this here. So let's put the sentence here. I would stay out of that argument. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Actually, let's just put this in. Let's put this in bold because it makes it much easier. Okay. Right, let's move on to the next question here, number two. We really should get someone to repair the printer. Okay. So we can see here with high, we're probably going to be talking about it's high time. Okay. And if we're using that expression, then we know that we need to be talking about past simple tenses. Okay. So if you're not too sure about this, it's worth having a look at the structures with wish, it's time, it's high time. These are quite common sort of sentences that come up at keyword transformations. Okay. And if you look here at the top, let's just read the sentence again. We really should get someone to repair the printer. And here we've got a past participle. So we could think about using the causative have structure. No, I had my car repaired. I had my hair cut. Okay, so let's write down a possible answer here. It's high time we had the printer repaired. Okay, so let's put this in bold because this is the answer. So here we can see we've got high time. That's also part of the answer. We've got this structure here, which is have, object, and the past participle. Okay, and that fits in well with what we got here before. Okay, let's move on to number three. In this town, very few drivers escape punishment for illegal parking. Okay, so in this town, hardly something parking illegally. Well, hardly typically will go with any. Okay, so we could talk about here hardly any drivers, and that's going to fit with the idea of very few drivers. Now we're looking for an expression that gives us escape punishment. Well, probably it's going to be get away with. So what can we put here? In this town, hardly any drivers get away with parking illegally. Okay, so let's put that in bold as well. Okay, so get away with, to escape punishment. Okay, let's move on to number four. I think it would be better if Mr. J could make an immediate decision. And we've got this here, mind. Probably I would say it's going to be about decision. Okay, so I would rather that Mr. J made up his mind immediately. Okay, so again, let's put this expression here. I would rather that Mr. J. I would rather Mr. J. Yes, this is probably sort of not that important. Let's put that in brackets. Okay, yeah, so to make up your mind is basically to make a decision. So we've got this expression here. Okay. Right, what else have we got? I succeeded in persuading Jo not to quit her job. Okay, so manage and succeed are sort of quite similar sort of expressions here. So talk out of will give you this idea of persuade or to convince. So I managed, sorry, hold on one second here. So I managed to talk, hold on, nothing happening. I managed to talk Jo out of her job. Hold on, we're missing something here. I managed to talk Jo out of quitting. Yes, otherwise it doesn't make sense. Of quitting her job. Let's put this in bold as well. Okay, yes, a talk out of. Okay, this gives you this idea of to persuade. Okay. Right, let's move on to number 6. The manager now regrets not picking Lionel for the team. The manager now wishes. Now here we've got regret plus gerund. Okay. And we know that this fits well with wish past perfect. Okay. And probably here we're looking at the verb to leave out of. Okay. So the manager now wishes that he hadn't or had not left Lionel out of the team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yes, leave out of. Leave out of basically gives you this idea of not to include. Okay, which is basically what he's regretting. Okay. And then we've got the question here at the bottom, number 7. The government's policy has been strongly criticized recently, and we've got a sentence here with come. Okay, so come in for strong criticism. I think this is going to be, so let's put in here, the government's policy has come in for strong criticism recently. Come in for strong criticism. Criticism is quite common here. Also, come in for blame is another sort of expression here that could be used with this phrasal verb. Okay, so let's put that in bold as well. Now, other sort of verbs that you could also think about that also are quite common here. Brush up on is quite common to see. Come up with is another verb that you might see in keyword transformations. Put up with is also common. Live up to, and that would be sort of in relation to expectations as the expression. Fit in with. Okay. There's quite a few sort of multi-word phrasal verbs that definitely worth looking at for this part of the exam.